And in fact, some of my friends from college, I'm thinking of Brandon McGinley, but also of others, are fans of yours. And in fact, we're kind of impressed that I knew Father Ambrose Dobrozsi, which I'm not at all impressed. I do. So
impressed.
I know. But so what's it been like, being on the social media front as a young priest in all these days? Welcome back to Closing the Social Distance. Ladies and gentlemen, you know that we've had a variety of guests over the past few days. Guests great, guests small. And yet, right now, I confess a greater degree of excitement than perhaps for any of them. Maybe not Father Aquinas. I was pretty excited for Father Aquinas. But to have Father Ambrose Dobrozsi, a son of the parish, whom we bow our heads once more in reverence for, well, folks, this is just a treat. Let's get a shot of making sure Father Clement bows his head at the name of... No, come on, it's got to go to you, Father Clement. It can't just go to me. Everyone knows I bow my head at the name of Father Ambrose Dobrozsi. But we want to see proof that you do it. So, how are you doing, Father Ambrose? It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's a great pleasure. Fun to hang out with you all. It's going pretty well up here in the cold north.
I was going to say, can you tell the folks where you are, or is that undisclosed?
It's pretty disclosed, considering you can just search my name and it shows up on the internet.
On the Google?
But I'm in Huber Heights. Yeah, I know, right? I'm in Huber Heights at St. Peter's Parish, and then we've got another 3 parishes in the region: St. Adalbert's, Holy Cross, and Our Lady of the Rosary, all of which are in Old North Dayton, a little bit south. And I was driving back to my parents' house in good old Cincinnati yesterday, and it is literally 20 degrees warmer because of a storm front that was going through.
Really?
So when I say the cold north of Dayton, I'm not joking.
Wow, that is penitential. I thought you had to get a few more degrees up there in order to really feel the chill, but apparently Dayton is the Great White North already. So now you were ordained a priest. I guess it was about a year ago Monday. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Monday, the 18th, will be my first anniversary of ordination.
Well, which is cool. Congratulations on 1 year as a priest of Jesus Christ. That's a pretty beautiful landmark to hit.
It's a good thing, and our archdiocesan ordinations are going tomorrow, so next year's class coming up really soon here. We're on the countdown for them. Please pray for deacons Chris, Andrew, and Benson. Any of y'all who are watching?
We are certainly going to pray for them. I think that there's something that's really powerful about being ordained a priest, or for that matter, being a new priest, or even just a young priest like us, in the midst of this crisis. I'm saying young as an act of generosity to Father Clement. I don't actually mean it that much. But like Father Ambrose, you and I can understand what it means to be young priests, still.
But not an ancient 36-year-old.
Wait, you're still in your 30s? I've forgotten. I thought you were in your late 40s for some reason. But anyway, I think it's something really powerful about the experience of the priesthood and this pandemic, precisely because it brings out that notion of what the priest is, what he is ordained for, and what it's all really about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely think so. And it's been something that I've kind of been meditating on during this period of time, because there's luckily plenty of time for meditation, and it would be bad to leave that unused. Because, parish ministry is interesting in a lot of ways, right? All kinds of stuff is going on, and you have to kind of see how the priesthood fits into parish ministry, because a lot of it just goes on without paying any attention to what the priest is doing, right? And so now when parish ministry is pretty much reduced to me saying private masses, hearing confessions, and trying to still pay our employees somehow, the way that the priesthood relates to the parish is shifted, but in a way where it still has to accurately represent what the priesthood is and reveal the essence of the priesthood in action. And it's kind of cool. I don't know, it says something different about the priest than you experience in normal parish ministry, and I think it's been helpful to think about.
priest is the mediator, man. I mean, you feel that, especially when you can't come in contact with people in the same way. That sense of bringing them with you to the altar when they themselves can't gather there as they would wish to.
Absolutely.
I think it's actually been a little bit helpful for understanding what the priest is doing at Mass, just to have this experience of it, because you can get the sense of, you can easily get the sense of the priest performing Mass, of the priest providing something that people can go to, of being, a leader. And to understand priesthood as a bringer of, a mediator, as somebody who brings the people to the Lord, as the one who enters the Holy of Holies and takes with him all of the needs and all of the prayers and all of the hopes of the people. I think being forced to do this without having sort of the externals, I think helps to draw our attention to that aspect.
Yeah.
Not that I, don't want the people to come back.
I was going to say, so what everyone should understand from this is Father Clement really doesn't want the people to come back to Mass. I think that we all heard the truth. It finally has come out.
Right, that's me.
Carefully concealed in 50 episodes, and finally you admit it at the end. I'm being facetious, folks, but I mean, I think that the experience of saying Mass in that first year or two of priesthood, it's always a blessing because it's still new, it's still fresh, it's still something that kind of induces awe. What's been your experience, in praying for, if not with, the people over the past few months?
There's a lot kind of going on there. The difficulties of streaming have made the prayer part of it interesting, because you've got all of these added concerns going on, and it's really, there's a lot there. I found when you're preaching with people in front of you, you're reacting to their faces, what they're looking like, what they're doing, like whether they're awake. Without people there, I have found my preaching to go a slightly different direction. I find it fun. I'm not sure if the people listening at home are finding it fun, but there's definitely.
I haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it either. But go ahead.
Neither have I. I've just done it live. And, there's definitely a very real, you don't always feel the prayers of the people around you when they're praying in front of you and you're kind of looking at them across the altar. But, when I've talked to people after saying my private masses, when I've gotten together with my parishioners who are coming and using our adoration chapel and stuff like that, and they're talking about how they're praying along at home and how they turned their TV into a little mini altar stand with candles. And I don't know where they got the relics. It's probably against canon law, but I'm not going to ask too many questions. It forces you to look into the spiritual reality that's going on at every Mass that you don't always recognize because the physical reality is much more present. Because their prayers are there with me, and they are praying along with me and offering the sacrifice of their lives and their hearts along with the Lord. And so this has been a good opportunity to realize that and maybe focus on that more in both my preaching and my mannerisms celebrating, which is always something you're trying to figure out as a first-year priest.
It's true enough. I mean, you never really thought about it, but a priest has to put his arms places. Like, where are my hands going at these different moments? I've attended Mass every day for years, but I never thought about where a priest is supposed to put his hands at this moment.
I will say that I had thought about that beforehand, especially thanks to Father Clement, who at the Our Father has a fantastic time playing Hide the Deacon with his very wide Dominican orans.
I dispute that that's Dominican. Just to be clear, I dispute that. I'm going to offer remedial courses for Father Clement, but the thing is, he might try to offer remedial courses for me, and then we're in an infinite regress.
And then you'd end up watching The Lord of the Rings and being humbled.
I forgot that we had that experience of the Easter Vigil last year. That was
you did an awesome job singing the Exultet. That was a lovely vigil. Except for the ruining of the that stupendous moment of the Gloria, which I still am not really over. Father Jacob Bertrand hissing, "Henry, stop him!" As the epistle reader got up early to do it in the midst of a dark, tree-filled sanctuary. It was a dramatic moment in our lives.
And it's certainly in comparison to the vigil this year, which was an adventure.
I can imagine. Year 2, yeah. I think that's a pretty universal experience at this point. Now, Father Ambrose, in addition to being a presence in the kind of usual ways for a young priest these days, online during the COVID crisis, you are also that rare bird, a Twitter priest. And in fact, some of my friends from college, I'm thinking of Brandon McGinley, but also of others, are fans of yours. And in fact, we're kind of impressed that I knew Father Ambrose Dobrozsi. Which I'm not at all impressed. I do. So I know. But so what's it been like, being on the social media front as a young priest in all these days?
Twitter's an interesting place. I started there because when I was on internship, I was doing music things and I wanted to tweet about music. And that didn't go over very well. That didn't get me many followers. I'm going to claim that it wasn't due to the quality of the music being made, but it's hard to make that claim. I don't have any evidence to back it up. However, I really found a very good community experience on there that I didn't find on other social media platforms. Facebook is very click-ish, I guess. And very you post your stuff and then any conversation that goes on is incredibly mediocre at best. Other social media are too anonymous or just pictures. I don't understand Instagram, but Twitter, there's tons, the whole point is conversation. You can't make a big blog post. You don't have the space for it. And so you just get caught up in these very pithy conversations back and forth. And it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And it turns out getting ordained a priest gets you a lot of followers if you tweet about it. So I'm not exaggerating. And I think this also goes to show that it has nothing to do with me or my content at all, but entirely about the respect that people have for the priesthood. Because I logged out of my Twitter account to go on my canonical retreat a week before ordination, around 750 followers. And then I logged back in to post an ordination photo, and it had literally doubled over 1,000 in that period of time. Wow. Just because people sharing, pray for this guy, he's being ordained. And it was incredible and a very good blessing. Now, it would be lying to say that it would be lying to not also talk about the difficulty of Twitter. There's definitely some anger, and it's a lot easier. And the platform kind of sets you up to be more divisive and vitriolic than necessary, because that's what gets.
It's all about the quips. It's all quick scoring points, right?
Yeah, and so it takes some intentionality to use well. But I found a lot of good friends through there, and I've met up with a good number of them, including some really cool priests. And it's been good. It's been good.
Well,
it's also kind of helped.
Twitter friends too.
Wait, you're on Twitter now?
I've been on Twitter ever since I started doing adult faith formation here to promote our stuff.
And he's doing pretty well. In fact, he had gotten as many followers as the alphabetic calculation of the name of a Roman emperor recently.
You're saying you had 666 followers on Twitter?
He did.
As of last night at 10 o'clock. and then Father Ambrose got me the 11.
Oh, hold on, folks. I'm going to extravagantly sigh. I know that you're not used to seeing me do this because that's more his role. But let me extravagantly sigh and look put upon. Okay. All right. I think that was pretty good. What do you think? How was my sigh?
It was very dramatic. I liked it. I think you had good facial expression. There was good tonality.
Yeah. I thought it had a nice kind of timbre to it. I kind of appreciated the resonance there. But We'll get Lady Catherine Fishlock to help me sigh more musically, more effectively. We're praying for your guys, for the archdiocese who are being ordained presently, and I hope that a buddy of yours growing up is also going to be ordained a priest, but for the province of St. Joseph as a Dominican in about a week on Saturday the 23rd. That's soon to be Father Jonah Teller. See, I'm trying to transition to get myself in the mode.
Definitely difficult.
Yeah, precisely. But it comes smoothly enough once you get used to it. But that must be pretty cool. Two young men from a lot of the same circles here at St. Gertrude growing up, and now both being priests.
Yeah, it's really cool, and then especially with his younger brother following along as well.
The brother Simon,
now a
deacon, and God willing, a priest next year.
Exactly, and it's a kind of a 3 years in a row of first masses at St. Gertrude as best as we can. Although this year, I'm sure it will be interesting.
More to come on that front. We'll deal with it as we can. So don't get me started, Father Ambrose. But we hope that people are saying the novena for our Dominican priests from the votive Mass of Christ, the High Priest, and we'll remember your guys as well. And I hope that their ordination, though it's going to be a little different than usual, it's still going to be beautiful to get to be conformed to Christ that way.
Yeah, definitely. That's actually one thing that, if there were one thing that would worry me about it, like if I were getting ordained, it would be the lack of having a lot of my brother priests there.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of the most emotionally powerful moments, was the Imbratio sign of peace after ordination with all of the priests in attendance. And, especially, these are all of my diocesan brothers. I'm going to be serving with all of these priests for the rest of my life. And I imagine it's similar in a religious community with, all of them, your brothers in religion in the province being around. Maybe I'm just imagining. Hard to say.
I'm practicing exasperation. I'm trying to gain these Clementine qualities.
And that's specifically the part that they don't get to have this year. The two things that are changed the most by not having a large congregation there is the acclamation after these men being chosen, and then the sign of peace with brother priests. And I think I know that's something that I would miss, but I think the guys who are getting ordained are just happy to be priests. So I think they'll be all right.
Well, Father Ambrose, we're happy you're a priest and a great son of the parish. And most of all, that you got to join us today on Closing the Social Distance. So thank you for taking the time.
Oh, this has been a great pleasure. It's wonderful talking to the both of you. And please know that I keep St. Gertrude's and your community in my prayers all the time.
We appreciate it, Father. And be sure to follow Father Ambrose. What's your Twitter handle?
It is at Honey Tongue Muse, referring to a legend about St. Ambrose where bees left honey on his tongue when he was an infant.
Where do we find these people, Clement?
They're everywhere.
Thanks, Father Ambrose. It's been a pleasure having you. And to all of our viewers, know that on behalf of Father Ambrose, Father Clement, and myself, we are all praying for you. So please remember to pray for us. We'll look forward to seeing you next time on Closing the Social Distance.
And you didn't get to ask all those questions you promised your Twitter followers, but I think they'll be satisfied if you link them to this year's Easter Vigil.
All right, we'll do.
Amen. Hallelujah. See you next time, folks, for Closing the Social Distance.